Greetings, upstanders. Dr. O here, and like many people, I've definitely been heartened to see the reunions that are taking place between people in Israel who are hostages, as well as people in Palestine who were hostages as well. There were some people who were prisoners, but many people who were detained actually haven't done nothing, including many young people were sitting in many of these in these Israeli cells and prisons for a very long time, some for years as well. Some say, and that is something that doesn't really get talked about enough. We call the Israeli hostages as they should have been called, but those who are detainees who are Palestinian were also hostages as well. And I think that's when we talk about language. I'm really big into language, working on this book, Trigger Words, and I'm paying a lot of attention to language that dehumanizes some and elevates others. And so I think we need to be paying attention to that. And so I'm very happy for all families and all parts of this conflict who are able to return home. I think it's also important to note that when it comes to this particular situation, that there is a ceasefire in place right now. It's not a peace deal. And sometimes, especially when dealing with Trump, we get so caught up in the immediate, the big pronouncement, the big executive order, the big document that's signed, and then we just think that it's all done. And to be quite honest, that's just not the case. There's so much that needs to be done. I mean, look, there were journalists who were killed just this weekend. There were houses that were bombed just this weekend. As soon as the IDF soldiers started pulling back, Hamas started moving into these territories. Once again, armed and executed on social media and right in front of everybody. 3 people they accuse of collaborating with Israel. And so as joyous as it is to see people be reunited, we can't just look at this as a done deal and a done situation. Furthermore, we also know that Netanyahu cannot be trusted. This is a man who funded Hamas for years. This is a man who, in many people's opinion, some say intentionally let their guard down so that the attacks could happen on October 7th. Whether you agree with that or not, the fact of the matter is this is a man who prolonged this war when many within the military community, including within Israel, were saying that the war objectives were achieved over a year ago. And so what did they do while Palestinians were being freed? They dropped these leaflets saying that we are watching you everywhere all of the time. They didn't want people to gather, but people gathered anywhere. And so I don't trust Netanyahu. I feel like now that Trump didn't get that Nobel Peace Prize, people even saw this with the head of Pakistan, today in Egypt. People have to keep saying the Nobel Prize, Nobel Prize. People are being asked, are you going to nominate Trump for a Nobel Prize for next year? Like they're already asking that question now. It's like in order to keep him engaged with the world, you have to mention, a Nobel Peace Prize. The woman, Maria Machado, who got the Peace Prize in Venezuela, dedicating it to Trump. It's like, it's just kind of disgusting the way that people feel like they have to really kiss up to him to get some form of action. But look, when you see what these Palestinian people are returning home to, the rubble, the land, everything that's been destroyed, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? Now, I don't look at Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff as the people who are going to lead folks through this at this particular moment in time. And so let the day of celebration happen and let people be, content with that. Always going to be joyful and joyous as it relates to families being reunited, but this is not the end. This is not the end. I mean, Trump in an interview, in a press conference, did it, or whatever he was doing, didn't even know what a two-state solution is, right? And so if you think that this is a guy who's going to lead people through in a long-term solution in terms of what needs to happen there, he's not the guy for that. If you think Netanyahu is going to be trusted to do the right thing, just chose to not even go to Egypt, he's not the one to do that. If you think that Hamas all of a sudden is going to be like, yeah, we're really going to lay down our arms and everything's going to be kumbaya, they're not the ones to do that. And so, yes, the moment needs to be celebrated, but there are a lot of other deeper issues that actually need to be resolved right now. And this administration is not up to doing it. And Netanyahu is committed to staying in power by any means necessary. And so I'm just really, I'm an optimistic person by nature. But when I look at the parties involved in what's happening, if Israel Palestine right now, I can't find myself being optimistic in this particular moment, though I'm happy for the unification of family members who are Palestinian, as well as who as Israeli as well. And I'm hoping that there's no more big attacks, no more anything. But these leaders are not going to be the one to make this happen. So Let me know what y'all think. I know y'all been watching this all day as well. What do you think is going to happen next? What do you think about this obsession with the Nobel Peace Prize and the fact that people are already talking about it from next year? It's really disgusting, to be quite honest, but I would like to know what you think. All right, y'all. Hit the like, subscribe, share. Help us get to 25,000 subscribers. Appreciate you all. And remember, as I always say, why settle for outstanding when you can be upstanding? Peace.